hello, and good time zone. And what is up, gamers? Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Hope you are well. Hope you are having the loveliest of lovely Mondays. My cable got stuck under my wheelie chair. I fixed it. It's fine. Hello. Hope you are all well. Very nice to be here. Hello, Leaky. Welcome in. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I hope you are having a lovely day. It is very wonderful to see you, and it's very wonderful to see everyone who is here watching the stream. Welcome. Hello. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired. I'm tired. You go into these like holiday periods with the intention of being like, oh man, I'm gonna get some quality rest. I'm gonna get some rest and some relaxation. And you emerge a few days later, like, more tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired, y'all. Hello, Turnip. Welcome in. I had a very good sleep last night in my own bed for the first time in many days because we were away visiting family. And oh, biddle boy, did I sleep last night. Thank goodness for that. Hello, Turnip. Hello, Mimicry. Welcome in, friends. Hope you are well. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, your streamer is tired. Your streamer, I think, is energetic enough to stream and then is going to collapse for the next few days and just do probably very little. Because, yeah, I've just noticed there are some little erasery ghosts that I'd like to try and just mop up here, and then I'll fix the pencils. So this is what we're painting today. I didn't really have much planned, and then I remembered I had this sketch. And I hadn't painted this sketch, so we are painting Spore Dyer, which is, I guess, this little guy's name, who is, of course, the significant other of this little They are in love, and so I wanted to paint them both. I hope you like them. This is the teacup that we did last time I streamed, just before the holiday break. And so this is the one that I'm doing now. Anyways, yeah. So what did you guys get up to in the, I haven't streamed for a week, so, yeah, if there are any, cool things y'all want to report on that you've been up to, I would love to hear all about them. But of course, if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. I'm not here to invade your privacy or, like, make you talk if you don't want to. Lurkers are very, very, very welcome, and I'm happy to hold down the fort. But that being said, if y'all are feeling chatty, I'm always happy to chat with you. Anyways, you know all that stuff. Hello. A cute tea pie, says Mimicry. Yes, I love that. That's delightful. Thank you. Thank you for the magnificent wordplay. Okay, I'm just putting back some of the lines that I think got slightly erased, but this shouldn't be too taxing of a piece to paint, I think. If you're not familiar with this as a concept. Also, hello, Dyer. Welcome in. It's lovely to see you as well. Welcome, welcome. In case anyone's wondering, I have 3 beverages on the go. I have this cup of coffee, which is the festive blend from Ozone Coffee Roasters. They were founded in New Zealand, but they now also have an outpost here in London. And I'm a big fan of their coffees. I do think that, I don't know, I feel like New Zealand and Australia were really kind of ahead of everywhere else in, like, the specialty coffee game. So generally if it's like, yeah, this coffee shop was founded by 2 Australians, it's like, okay, you're in good hands, you know. Or likewise, you know, this coffee roastery it comes from New Zealand, you're probably in good hands. But yeah, and I know that the 2 countries are in conflict with each other over who actually invented the flat white. And I am not about to wade into that argument because I don't know and I don't want to get in trouble. But anyways, this coffee's really nice. It's very good. We got ourselves 2 coffee blends this year. I got the festive blend from Ozone Coffee Roasters and also the Jingle Beans from Newground Coffee Roasters. Who are an Oxford-based roastery, so not too far from where I am. So that's nice. in as much as I can go to their roastery if I want to and get a coffee, because it was within within like visiting on the same day distance of me, which is always nice. Anyways, I was going to pull up an image of a Sports Direct mug so you can see what I'm talking about. If you're not British, you might not be familiar with the Sports Direct mug and its significance, as it were. As you can tell by my accent, by the way, I am from the United Kingdom. If you can't tell by my accent, I was not born here. I just live here now. Anyways, the last time I streamed Silk Song, several people thought that I was doing an Australian accent when I was distinctly attempting Northern. So, who knows what y'all are hearing when I speak? I don't know anymore. Like he says, I mostly had an enjoyable festive period. I'm glad to hear it quiet. That sounds really nice. I'm grateful you're live to provide evidence that it is indeed Monday. Yay! I'm glad that you're able to, I don't know, reestablish your calendar by me, because I mean, I know I was away for a few days, but I was literally away. We were off doing family stuff, and so I was not going to be able to stream on those days. And I also had some nice time just kind of chilling and seeing family that, you know, we don't get to see super often because they live farther distances from our home. So it was nice. Yeah, and we got to exchange some gifts. I got to give some gifts. I got some nice gifts. I got some unexpected fun surprises, including a absolutely delightful Silk Song shirt from my significant other, which I shall treasure and I look forward to wearing. And socks from the in-laws, as always. And I also gave some stuff that I hope is well loved and enjoyed. I got some slippers for my moderator / spouse, as well as a nice cozy flannel shirt. And we gave some wine to family members that drink wine. I really hope that we made adequate selections because I do not drink wine, so it was very much a, well, these tasting notes sound like they'd be delicious if you drink wine kind of guesswork. So fingers crossed. You know, kind of going on the assumption that if it costs between 10 and, you know, sort of 10 and 15 pounds and it has tasting notes that sound like they would be delicious, then it's probably fine. But yeah, anyways. Mimicry says, as someone who does not drink coffee, such explanations just sound like someone retelling the lore of their favorite fantasy game. I mean, Mimicry, I will tell you, one of my favorite things to establish in, like, the world building of a time and a place or a fantasy setting or whatever is, like, what are we eating? What are we drinking? What's on tap? What's available? You know, what kind of soup do goblins enjoy? These things are very important to me. These are normal concerns, but you know, like, it makes a difference. Are we all eating sort of like, you can tell a lot about the world from the kind of food that they enjoy, you know? Are we all eating, like, I don't know, hardtack and lard, or are we all eating, like, you know, sort of a rich vegetable potage with, like, I don't know, like roast ham and pheasants, or are we all just sort of pouring things out of a packet and adding boiling water to it? You know what I mean? Like, it tells you a lot about the time and the place and also the character, I think, what the food is like. I'm going off on a tangent now. Are there just loads of different types of tea? Are there any types of tea? Is tea consumed in this world? I don't want to play in a world where tea is not a thing. I like tea too much for that. I mean, for one thing, hello, Mr. Sports Direct mug. Thing two, I do also have a tea on standby. This is Hello Kitty's Pink Apple Pie. I'm pretty sure it's limited edition, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be returning, so I'm going to be really sad when I run out of this, because it's a really nice, like, apple and cinnamon situation. That has not been stirred, and there is a spoonful of sugar in the bottom of it, because I do find sometimes that any tea that's got, like, hibiscus or something in it, can err on the sour side if it's not sweetened in some way with, like, a little sugar or honey or, like, Sweetex sweetener tablets. For me, anyways. Leaky says, hooray for presents / gifts from moderator / spouse. Yeah, very thoughtful. Oh, and also gave me, like, several big bags of Hungarian paprika, which I was very grateful to receive, because I cook with it a lot, and I would be at a loss if I didn't have the good Hungarian paprika, because it's just, buying just, like, generic supermarket paprika, it's not as good. It is not as good. You have to get the Hungarian paprika, and, you have to be mindful of which one you get, because there are two kinds. There's the sweet paprika and the hot paprika. So make sure you know which one you're getting and therefore what sort of flavor it's going to be. So, like, I get the sweet paprika because I am not a spicy enjoyer. And I mean, you know, it's like spicy, but not spicy in, like, a major sense. It's not like millions and millions and billions of Scovilles or anything. But it's still kind of spicy. Anyways, my point is, if you want the sweet paprika, you have to look out for, it will say Édes, E-D-E-S, Édes, and that's the one you want for the sweet paprika. Or if you do want the spicy hot paprika, for some reason, it's Cipos, which is Cipos, spelled C-S-I-P-O-S. And I feel like I do need to spell things out when I'm when I use Hungarian words, because a lot of the mostly the consonants can trip you up if you don't expect that, like, a CS word combin is going to produce a ch sound, for instance, or that just an S on its own is a sh sound, and if it's an S that sounds like an English, like S, it is SZ. That's not a Z sound, that's a S sound. Anyways, now you know. Scoville just sounds like a little village where chilies live. That's so cute! Welcome to Scoville! That's so adorable. I want to see Scoville. I think that's so cute, Leaky. Oh my god. I'm imagining just like the coziest little town with these little, like, chili pepper people walking around. That's so cute. That's so cute. Mimicry says, describing a typical meal sounds like a wonderful way to do world building. I'm stealing that idea. Oh, please steal that idea. I think it's just one of the questions that I think is a really good question to be able to answer if you're doing world building. I've been casually world building just for fun, for myself, and have established that the area that I'm thinking of, there is a lot of preserved fish. Just a lot of different ways to preserve fish. It's you know, it's tinned, it's smoked, it's dried, it's cured, it's in aspic. God, I wish it wasn't, because I do not like that. That's nasty. I do love most of the other ones of that, though. But sometimes the world you are writing about or building or doing whatever, whether it's for, like, a novel or for like a TTRPG campaign, sometimes you've just got to concede that, like, man, these people are eating things that I do not want to. Anyways. Good coffee. I need to pull up no, I don't need to open Xbox. I do not want to open Xbox. I cannot play games on this computer on stream. I was torn about this, because there are variations on the Sports Direct mug. in as much as you get you could buy, what the heck? No. If you wanted to, you could buy a Sports Direct mug on Amazon.co.uk for £8.18. Now, I ask you, why the hell would you do that? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. No. No. Don't you do it. That's really dumb. Anyways. I would like you to see the Sports Direct mug. Basically, it was a thing where it's just nominally, for a really long time, Sports Direct would just include like a mug with your order when you ordered something from Sports Direct, I think. And I say nominally because it just kind of seemed like they would just materialize in cupboards, whether it's like the cupboard of like your office kitchen at work or your cupboard at home. They're just there. Every kitchen has a Sports Direct mug and no one knows how they got there. Hello, Advin. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely Monday. And hello, welcome. I remember hearing about the Sports Direct mugs. Yes, they are ubiquitous, and they're also very large in capacity. I liked the contrast between like a dainty little teacup and this massive like 2 to 3 cup worth Sports Direct mug. Advin, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, anyways, I wanted you to see firsthand what the Sports Direct mug looks like. But shoot, I need to hold up. Wait, it's doing the thing again. Give me a second. Okay. This is my Instagram page because it defaults to my Instagram page. But ignoring that for a moment, except do look at this robin, which I posted for Christmas, because it's seasonally appropriate to do robins at Christmas in this country. But most importantly, so this is a prototypical Sports Direct mug, but there are variations. So I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to do this one where it's like 2 bands of color and then the lettering in white. But to me, I feel like when I think of a Sports Direct mug, I think of a white mug with the letters in their respective like blue and red coloring. So I think that's what I want to do. But this is the mug if you've never seen one, or if you live in a country where Sports Direct does not just like beam mugs into your homes like they apparently do here. Yeah. Anyways, and for anyone who isn't aware, also these mugs, they are genuinely absolutely massive. Just huge. So yeah, but they are also very, very everywhere here, I feel like. Let's see. So if I actually go onto Sports Direct's website out of curiosity. Oh, would you look at that? The mug costs £2. Do not spend £8 on one of those mugs on Amazon. You're wasting your money. That being said, oh my god, Sports Direct, sorry, I'm looking at this on my phone. Sports Direct sell a pair of slippers inspired by the Sports Direct mug, in as much as the slippers have a little handle. It's hard to see with the camera, but the slippers have a little handle to make it look like you're wearing a Sports Direct mug on your feet. What? That's so stupid. I love it. I hate it. It's horrible. I would not wear that, but, you know, I respect it. I do. But yeah, you can buy a mug from them. I mean, this is technically on sale, but you can buy a mug from them for £2 if you want to. I don't know whether or not they still just give you them. I'll look it up. Advent says, I love big mugs. I need it to hold at least 12 to 14 ounces. I largely agree, unless it's a drink that I genuinely want like a small amount of. I generally agree. This is somewhere between 12 and 14. I think that's my tea. My coffee is 12. I believe the Sports Direct mug is about 20, so I need to unmute for just a second, so bear with. Sorry about that. Your streamer was blowing their nose and really didn't want to make that sound into the mic. Because yikes. Okay, anyways. So what did I do over the last few days? There's an excellent question. And the answer is a resounding I don't remember. I do have good news, though. My good news is that the ad break warning seems to have just miraculously returned. If anyone was here last week or briefly the week before that, might remember that I was having trouble with the ads, like the ad schedule not running correctly and therefore not knowing if ads were running. And it was a whole big load of mess. But that seems to have sorted itself out because the little like chat pop-up warning came in before stream today, so I will be able to actually like warn people when an ad is coming, and we will stop doing what we're doing and take a little break so nobody misses anything, which is very much the point. Okay, I'm gonna bring up my reference image again just because I want to make sure that I'm doing the colors of this correctly. Also, for anyone in the Discord who missed it last week, I did post a painting that I found in doing an image search for Sports Direct mug. Found a painting that sold for like £2,500, which is really good, and I'm glad for the artist. And it's also something that I cannot show on stream. It was a very interesting still life, shall we say. Anyways, Advent says, I'm not usually a big watercolor person, but I love your art. Scrolling through your Insta. Thank you so much. That's really, really sweet. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so the Spore, I'm gonna do the lettering first, I think. The Spore is blue, so I'm using the 1940 set Japanese watercolor from Choosing Keeping. I'm just gonna use this, I think, because it's a fairly straight ahead, like blue and red. It's not exactly these shades, but I think it's close enough that it doesn't need to be 100% perfect color match wise, and it might be for the best that it's not. But I'm just going to use straight ahead this blue for the sports. I'm checking one more time to make sure that the top color is blue and the bottom color is red, because I'm absolutely terrified that I'm going to fluff this up and get them reversed. And that would be a bit bad, but I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Anyways, but yeah. And I'm gonna start with the P because there's a lot of paint on this brush, and I would quite like to not make a horrendous mess of the S because there is a string hanging in front of it. Anyways, oh yeah, I don't know if older viewers may be aware of the fact that I am a certified railway station enjoyer. I like trains, but what I really like are railway stations. And so I always really look forward to getting to travel by train. But with that being said, oh my god. Traveling by train to visit the in-laws for the holidays is like so stressful. It is so stressful for me. The font is white though, says Mimicry. There are variations. There's variations on the mug. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me... Told ya. So there you have it. Anyways. But yeah, was traveling by train yesterday. And this is they did this on the way there and the way back. So we take we have to travel a portion of our journey on a very popular and very well traveled like rail main line that goes through quite a few major cities on sort of like a north-south swath through the country. Oh, okay, says Mimicry. Phew. Yeah, absolutely. It's fine. I did debate which variation I wanted to do, and I decided to go for this one just because it's the prototypical one in my head. That might not be for everyone, but for me, when I think of a Sports Direct mug, I think of the colored text on white as opposed to the white text on bands of color. So that's what I wanted to do here. But yeah, anyways, it is a major railway route. It is a very popular train because it goes through a number of major cities. And normally the train that we would take would consist of like 8 carriages. Like, it is a long old train because it carries a large number of passengers. And both on the way there and on the return journey, it was running on 4 carriages. And it was so... The way there was okay. The way there was I think, not enough people had gotten on when we were getting on that we were able to, like, just find a place to sit and sit down. But on the way back, the entrance way, the little, like, vestibule of the train was rammed full of people like sardines. There was no moving in or out or up and down the carriages. Like, good luck if you were seated and you wanted to get off. Because you're going to have to be shoving past people, and it's going to be horrible and messy and stressful. But by the time the train got to the station that we were getting on to that train at, it was already rammed. And we managed to find a spot where we could just squeeze our bodies in and stand in the corridor for like an hour. And my back was hurting so bad. And I was masked, because the last time I had to do this, I got COVID. And it was horrible. And I'm pretty sure I was masked then too, but this was also like 2 years ago. But yeah, the last time I had to do this, I got COVID. I don't want to get COVID again. So yeah, protecting my little face as best as I can from literally just an inescapable crush of humans. Was bad and awful and deeply unpleasant. And I was in there for like an hour. Because of the huge amounts of people, it took people way longer to get on and off the train. And my question is, cross country, you know this is going to happen. You know this happens. Why do you not just put on a train with more carriages? Like, why? It's unsafe for them to be running like this. Both for public health and just generally for, like, safety. I don't think it's good to be running trains that are consistently this, like, standing room. Especially when, like, a lot of these people have luggage, because these are long-haul trains that go from one end of the country to the other end of the country. It's, like, a many hours journey. And here we are with a severely under-equipped train for it. Every freaking time. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. I do not understand. Especially again on days when, like, they know it's going to be busy. Surely they have, like, metrics and stuff to try and, like, predict and figure out what's maybe going to be a less busy time of day most of the time and put the shorter trains on then or something. I don't know. But this was just, it was deeply unpleasant. And I say this as someone who loves trains and loves railway stations, but traveling on this line makes me so anxious because, like, it's so regularly just bad. Okay, we've got SPO, and it's looking a little bit, how shall I say, janky. I don't know how the O ended up that much bigger than the P. Oh, well. Oh well, I guess. Anyways, never mind. At least it's getting done. But other than that, had a nice holiday break. It is the second as a Christmas celebration, or this is the second Christmas that I've had where I have fresh new dietary restrictions. Um, so like I was not able to eat the Christmas cake or the Christmas pudding. Um, but I got to have other stuff, so it was fine. Um, and all things considered, having a reasonable number of items that are unavailable to me for like health reasons also means I'm less likely to overindulge and make myself sick. Because I have many years suffered the fate of just like eating way too much. Because there are so many things, like a Christmas dinner has so many elements. There's multiple different kinds of vegetables, and then there's the main thing, which is non-turkey for me because I don't eat meat. Um, but then also stuffing, and two kinds of potatoes, and gravy, and yada yada yada. And that's not including like 2 courses worth of dessert. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. It's abundance. Of course it's abundance. It's celebratory, but therefore it's so easy to just okay, this is a reasonable portion of potatoes. Yes, it is. But that's just the mashed potatoes. That doesn't include the roasted potatoes as well. And you've also already piled like a massive heap of carrots onto your plate. Yada yada yada. And then you just feel like Garbo for the rest of the day. Um I did very forcefully insist upon going for a little walk uh in the afternoon after Christmas dinner, just to try, and I'm just pulling up the P in Spore so that it doesn't look weirdly that much shorter than the O. I think that still looks mostly normal. I don't know. It's a little janky, but it's fine. But yeah, went for a little walk. I think I ended up going for quite a short little walk this year because I didn't feel great. But we did. Oh yeah, we did a little walk around the park. Actually, it was nice. We got to see some people walking their doggies. The only thing is, it was incredibly cold and windy that day. Um, so I was absolutely freezing. But I was happy to just kind of walk up and down some gentle slopes and do a tiny bit of exercise, because I think that's part of what ends up sort of seeping in and just make me feel like comatose garbage, is that I'm also, I'm eating a stupid amount of food and then I'm not moving my body at all. And don't talk about your ages, chat, but I am over 40. And I have noticed at my age I have to be a little nicer to myself, or I feel like absolute boo-boo garbage. I can't be quite as abusive to my system as I was able to in my 20s. I shouldn't have been doing that in my 20s either. I've always been kind of delicate, but, it's worse now. Anyways, I feel that, says Advent. Oh, for real, for real. I am, honestly, again, I'm making salad for dinner tonight. I'm having a salad with some little, like, vegetable nuggets that you do in the air fryer. And I'm so pumped. I am so pumped just to have, like, a pile of vegetables and some balsamic vinegar. I'm so excited. Because a lot of richness happens at this time of year. Certainly, because, again, I'm in the United Kingdom. And a lot of the traditional roast beast meals are very rich, and tend to be very like meat heavy. I refrain from the meat, but it's definitely very carb heavy, and it's like woof. It's a lot, but anyways, this is for Joe, who can't hear me but wanted to say hi. I have to go sit with my niece for dinner. Love you. Thank you for the lurk, Joe. Just put it, Poppy will love you, Joe. I don't know if they're still here, but I've typed a message to them in the chat, just in case. Oh, the other thing I've got a little status report on. I'm very excited about this. So I've been working on this, which is an 18th century shirt, for the last few weeks, hand sewing it. And I'm very pleased to report that the sleeves, I haven't finished doing you can see I haven't finished doing the sleeve seams here because we've still got the raw edges. Actually, let me show you this one because I've started the process of, was it this one or is it the other one? No, it is the other one. Okay. I've begun the process of taking these raw hem edges, which if you just leave them, they're going to fray, and that's not pleasant. That could lead to, like, the damage and reducing the garment's longevity overall. And these sleeve seams are a real pain in the backside to put in, so you want to preserve them as much as you can, in case, sort of folding over these sleeve fabric edges and just encasing them with a little felling stitch to, you know, so that the raw fabric edges aren't poking out, basically. So that's what I'm working on right now. But because that's what I'm working on right now, the sleeves are technically fully attached to the garment, which means that I was able to actually try on the shirt for the first time, and I'm so excited. Because it fits reasonably well. Now, I haven't done the collar piece, so it doesn't, like, I can't see fully how it's going to look when it's done, because the neckline, like, gets gathered into the collar, so you get a bit of sort of, like, poofiness, sort of at that part of it as well, which means that the shoulders are sitting a little bit further down than where they will be when the collar is stitched on, which is, like, the third to last thing I have to do. Finish, like, encasing the sleeve seams. Then I have to attach the collar. Then I have to stitch the buttonholes, and then I have to sew the buttons on, and then the shirt is done. So we're not quite there yet, but it is technically a garment that I can put on, even if it's, like, nowhere near being finished. I'm just very excited about this project, because I think it's going to be a useful piece for me to have in my wardrobe, but also part of the reason that I bought this shirt, part of the reason I bought the fabric for the shirt, was that the color is called Demon Scarlet, and I thought, oh, that sounds like a pirate. That sounds like a pirate, you know? Like, oh, it's Demon Scarlet. They're gonna plunder your booty or swash your buckle or whatever it is that pirates do. And I just thought that was so charming. Historically speaking, would they have made a shirt in just, like, a solid red colored fabric? No. It is historically fantasy, not accuracy. The construction is accurate. The color is fantasy. I do have a historically color accurate shirt as well, which is in sort of like a light kind of natural colored linen that has a little sort of like striped sort of check pattern in it. And that's something that might have been worn in the period. You see a lot of, obviously, like the quintessential, you know, sort of like pirate shirt, poet shirt, 18th century men's shirt generically, color would have been white linen. And that was sort of the preferred. That certainly, if you were of any moneyed class, like upper class or middle class or that kind of thing, you would have wanted a white linen shirt. But oftentimes people of more like hands-on working classes, like if you were doing some kind of manual labor, if you were working on a ship as a sailor or a pirate or whatever, you're more likely to have been wearing something that had like a sort of check pattern to it, or that might have been like a lighter color, that kind of thing. Because now personally I think that makes like sailors and that kind of thing look really jaunty in terms of their like everyday fashions in that period. But practically the reality is that people were wearing that kind of thing instead of a white shirt because it didn't show stains as easily as a white shirt would have done. And especially if you're a sailor, if you're at sea, you don't have access to like as much like laundry as you would on land. Like you probably don't have as much storage space for your possessions, so you may have like fewer changes of shirt at your disposal. Therefore, it's kind of important to have something that isn't gonna, that you know, you might be able to rewear a little bit more, that isn't gonna show stains if it gets stained in the process of work, and you know, that don't come out in the wash, that kind of thing. Whereas, you know, if you're super fancy and you get a stain on your white shirt, you could probably just replace it, because shirts were not a very expensive garment. They were, you know, the equivalent of like underpants. So, um, yeah. But if you were like, you know, doing hard, like, manual labor on a ship or that kind of thing, like, you know, sewing sails and making ropes, or swabbing the decks, or whatever it is they do on ships, it was useful and practical to have garments that, like, it's okay if they get a little bit messy and they'll still look fine. Anyways, so that's your history lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I finished my cup. Damn, that was a good cup of coffee. I should get like a coffee roastery to sponsor me. Cause I love talking about coffee, and I love recommending coffee, but I will also just heartily endorse small businesses roasting coffees that I think are delicious. So I endorse Ozone as a coffee roaster. Who else? There are so many good coffee roasters in this country. Ozone, very, very good. New Ground, which is, you know, Oxford based, very, very good as well. Really like their coffee. They also have a related social enterprise where that aims to help, like, recently released from prison folks to, like, get into work, which in turn helps, you know, prevent, like, reoffending and that kind of thing. So that's really good. You love to see it. Who else? Full Court Press in Bristol, very good. I've only bought one coffee from them, but Quantum Roasters in Cardiff, I really liked the coffee that we got from them as well. Looking a little bit further afield, if you are in Denmark or able to order coffee from Denmark, I like La Cabra, and I like Bella's. Bella's very, very good in Copenhagen. And where did we get coffee in Amsterdam? We had coffee in a few places, but I think Badetta in Amsterdam, which is near the Albert Cuyp's Market, very good also. Anyways, sorry, I was just coffee this, coffee that, blah 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 blah. Advent says, I am living off of Folgers lately, miserably, because I'm at my parents'. Oh, that is a mood. That is a mood. I don't, like, my moderator / spouse and I had actually planned to bring a jar of our own ground coffee from home to take to, like, the in-laws' house, to enjoy while we were there, because they do have a coffee press, so at least we were able to, like, have French press coffee. I have no idea what the ground coffee in the house was, but I'm 90% sure that it was just, like, you know, sort of a standard pre-ground coffee bag that came from, like, Asda or something. So, you know, like, it was fine, but it wasn't, like, great. It was just okay. And drank a lot of instant as well. And Builder's tea, about which I have no complaints, because I do like a good Builder's tea. But that is the way of traveling, is you don't always know what you're going to get in terms of coffee, or you do and you know it's going to be just, like, mid, and so it goes. The way I'm listening intently, even though I'm in America. Ah, shoot. I unfortunately do not have the scoop on who's roasting good coffee right now in America. The last time I was in the States was like, oh man, like 9 years ago maybe? It's been a long old time since the last time I was in the America, and I'm pretty sure it was like 2016, 2017 over Christmas and New Year's. We were in Boston, and there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for us to go out and sample like the local roasteries there as well. Anyways, I had Starbucks. And it tasted exactly the same. But they only have a Keurig, and I swear the coffee tastes burnt. That's what I notice about since I got into like my specialty coffee journey. I tend to prefer sort of like lighter, medium, or roasts. Generally, is that in the like nice coffee realm, the spectrum of like light roast to dark roast is like, okay, how shall I pick? I'm gonna take this scrap of paper. And we're gonna take this gradient here. Now let's say this is the lightest like palatable roast, and this is the darkest palatable roast. And in my experience, the like nice sort of like specialty coffee world tends to go from like, you know, this is light, this is medium, and this is dark, versus the supermarket coffee realm is like, this is light, and like this is medium, and this is dark. In my experience, that is often the case, is that they tend to roast darker. I'm not entirely sure why this is. But I did notice we got like a medium dark coffee from the supermarket because my husband, my moderator / spouse, Twitch user / Callier, had a voucher for a free bag of like supermarket own brand coffee, so we picked one out, and it's so toasty. It's like it's not quite burnt flavor, but it's darker than I would generally prefer for just a straight ahead filter coffee. So I've kind of been like, we've still got it, but I've kind of been just like quietly ignoring it. Because it's not really my bag for like a homebrewed coffee. Because it's too dark for my tastes. I prefer something a little bit on the lighter side. Something where I can actually taste some of the tasting notes besides, like, I would say a predominant tasting note in this one is cereal. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but, you know, it's not my favorite. Anyways, I want to buy a mucka pot, says Advent. Ooh, gazillion out of 10. Do recommend, my friend. I do love having a mucka pot. I love making coffee on the stovetop. It's so stinking cozy. In fact, hold up. Wait a minute. Where is it? I haven't posted this on my socials. So if you weren't here when I streamed it, you may have missed it, but here's my little mucka pot. Because I love them very dearly. I do recommend them. It's a really nice way to brew coffee. It's a nice way to brew coffee. And it's also just sort of like a cozy... I like a coffee brewing situation that can be a little bit of a ritual. And I think the mucka pot is good for like a little ritual. So yeah, gazillion out of 10 do recommend a mucka pot. It's fun. And there's loads of videos on like good mucka pot technique as well. Which I would always recommend James Hoffman for that kind of thing. I would recommend watching James Hoffman's video on how to brew with a mucka pot. Because I trust him. Anyways, we're about to go into ads, so I'm gonna pop on the BRB screen. You ain't gonna miss anything because I'm not gonna be here. So have a nice break, have a drink, have a stretch. I'm sorry if you have to see ads. I'll be back very shortly. BRB. Alright, yippee, ads are done. Hi everybody, I'm back. Hello. Advent says, great time to talk about how reasonably priced your stuff is, especially shipping. Hello everyone. Yeah, you know, now that you mention it, here comes the sponsored segment of the stream. This stream has been brought to you by me. I have a shop. sorry to continue the ads, but I do have a shop where you can get all kinds of neat stuff like prints and stickers and bookmarks and whatever your heart desires, as long as your heart desires small artworks and or stationery, because that's pretty much all there is there. But yeah, I do have a shop, and I am trying to get better about actually mentioning it on stream, because I'm not always that good at doing that. But I didn't get an ad for some reason. Anyways, oh, Advent, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you didn't have to see an ad. Genuinely, I love that for you. I obviously, if anyone who doesn't know how this platform is monetized, unless you are subbed, you are watching this stream for free, but the consequence of that is that they will show you ads on a scheduled basis, but thankfully I'm able to schedule the ads in a way such that I ensure that no one misses any content as a result of the ads. I am unable to switch off the existence of ads entirely. I think a lot of viewers, or at least some viewers, don't actually realize that I cannot choose not to run ads at all on my stream. You can choose not to see ads, but you have to... unless you have an ad blocker that works, and I don't really know how those work, so no comment. But assuming that you don't, you can choose not to see ads across the board if you have a turbo subscription or subscribing to a specific channel. I do not expect anyone to pay me money to be here, but I do apologize if you have to see ads. I can't make them not happen. And that sucks. It's not like, I think some people think like, oh, you know, the streamer's running an ad again. That's so greedy and money grubbing of them. And ads do not make that much money. Unless you have thousands of viewers, ads are not making it. Even if you do have thousands of viewers, I don't think ads make you that much money. I'm full transparency here. I will tell you that like in any given month, my ad revenue is like a couple dollars tops. It is not a way to make money by any stretch. And all things considered, despite the fact that my average viewership is usually somewhere between 12 and 15 users, I'm in a reasonably high percentile in terms of average Twitch viewership. The vast majority of people are streaming to like between 1 and 2 people. So, anyways, I consider myself very blessed that people actually want to be here. Anyways, but yeah, I fully derailed there. What I was going to say is that, yes, sponsored segment of the stream. I do have a shop where you can get all kinds of neat stuff, assuming you consider any of these things to be neat. But I've got bookmarks, like these little guys. This is from my most recent drop, Fredward, who is a very special little guy. It's short for Froggy Edward, of course. I did, some Star Trek fan art, of course, as well as some bird art. I do love drawing birds. And thank you, Advent. I'm glad that you enjoy my bird art. I will be doing more bird art soon. I have so many robin species that I need to paint. Because I have robin hyperfixation at the moment. Because there's so many different species of robin, and they're all so stinking cute, and I have to paint some of them, so I'm going to paint some more of them. But also Hollow Knight fan art, because I enjoy Hollow Knight and Silksong and that kind of thing. Including this medieval hornet, which you can get painted in gold. So, yeah, anyways. Cryptids, gay people, railway stations, that kind of thing. It's very silly. It's deeply silly. This is one of the most popular things I did this year. And I literally drew it in just horrible biro on like a notebook in the middle of a meeting at my day job. It's my favorite thing also. It's not even autism coded. It's just autism. And that's relatable to me. So there you have it. Once again, like gay stuff, birds, etc., etc. Anyways, so that's my ad pitch, and I'm sorry for doing it, but here you go. Anyways, your Hollow Knight set is probably my favorite. Advent says, I like how you do the colors on this. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really, really do. I love doing For those of you who don't know, for the last couple of years, friend of the channel Kirsty has run something called Hollow Knight Art Month, which is like 31 days in the month of May of prompt words, like one prompt word a day, to do with something to do with Hollow Knight, and I guess also this coming year, Silksong. So I'm very excited to be doing another one of those art months this coming year, and I look forward to seeing what the word list will be, and what kind of silly gubbins I'll get to paint. But Hollow Knight is kind of a special case, and it's a little unusual for me. And as much as I do make art prints out of like a small selection of the Hollow Knight art that I do over the Hollow Knight art months, but they're always extremely limited edition in terms of art prints, because Team Cherry are so nice, in as much as they are totally chill with people selling like fan arts and crafts and that kind of thing of their games. But it can't be mass produced, and it can't use any of the like official actual in-game artwork. Like, you have to have made it yourself, obviously. But yeah, they're like, if you want to sell little crocheted, you know, Sherma from Silksong or whatever, they're just like, yeah, go for it. And so in the spirit of this, when I do art prints of Hollow Knight or Silksong, I limit it to a quantity of like, I'm doing like 6 to 10 prints of this ever, and that's it. It will cease to exist as something you can buy. So if you want it, I guess jump on it. That's also why they're a little bit more expensive, because it costs me more money to print in such small quantities. But yeah. Drawfee rules, says Advent. I didn't know that was also Drawfee rules, but I do enjoy a Drawfee situation. If you're here and you're not familiar with Drawfee, look them up. They're fun. If you like the stupid stuff that I do, you'll probably like Drawfee a lot. I very much enjoy the draw. I was actually, as a holiday treat, my moderator / spouse and I were going, partially because it was just showing up in my YouTube recommendations feed, but we went back and watched a whole bunch of like old Drawfee videos of previous like holiday themed things that they'd done, like drawing movie posters for Hallmark Christmas movies that they hadn't seen, that kind of thing. And also like drawing Porfmas gifts for each other. Again, if you're not familiar with Drawfee, you probably won't know what Porfmas is, so I suggest you look into it. It's fun. And also they did a few some years ago Christmas folklore, which was very, very fun. So doing like artwork of like the Yule lads from Iceland and Grilla the Christmas witch, and just digging into the interesting sort of holiday folklore and folkloric creatures of different countries. Like there was these little creatures from, I think, like France, but and also Switzerland, that were very fun. I can't remember what the name of them are. I'm most familiar with the Yule lads, to be fair. I remember, speaking of the Yule lads, there was a year when my moderator / spouse and I were flying to Canada over the holiday period, and I did appreciate that Iceland Air had little pictures of the Yule lads that they'd like taped to like the luggage bins around the plane. It was very fun. These little illustrations of, if you're not familiar with the Yule lads, it is these little guys who are a little bit mischievous around the holiday period in Iceland. They are the sons of Grilla the Christmas witch, and they all have names like Sausage Swiper and Spoon Licker, and basically they'll like, if you're not good, if you don't leave out treats, they'll come into your house and like steal all your candles. I think there's like a candle stealer. Meat Hook, that one has a terrifying name. There's one that's just he's just called Stubby. which I enjoy. My favorite one is the Skier Gobbler, because if I was a Yule lad, I would be the guy who just sneaks into your house and eats all of your yogurt, because I like the Skier Gobbler, love yogurt. For those who don't know, Skier is a type of Icelandic yogurt. And it's delicious. I love Skier. It has a nice, like, thickness to it. It has a nice texture. But it's very healthy as well. It's nice with a bit of fruit, some berries or something like that. Pigeon says, I know Porfmus. Hi, Pigeon. Welcome in. You must create an enormous edible thing for your loved ones to eat, and if they do not eat the entire thing, they will be consumed by Porfo himself. Yes, exactly. If you do not want to be devoured by Porfo, you've got to eat your entire Porfmas gift, even if it is a giant ball of noodle soup that is the same size as you. You got to eat that. You gotta eat that. You know, it's like, it is a meatball sandwich the size of your sofa. You gotta eat that. It is, I don't want to spoil the video that we were watching of the foods that they had to eat, but sometimes the gift giver really thinks that they're making you something delicious, and you're like, oh no. Oh no. Let's say, for example, they know that you really love roasted almonds, and you also really love, let's say, like, jelly snakes. So they just make you a giant ball of jelly snakes that's studded with almonds, which, as a textural combination, sounds absolutely hideously disgusting. But you gotta eat that. You gotta make sure you get a bit of almond and a bit of jelly snake in every bite, you know? You wanna display your gratitude and also not get devoured by Porfo. As a porfling, I support this message, says Advent. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Anyways. Thankfully, the Porfmas gift I received from my moderator/spouse this year was half a gluten-free mince pie from Costa Coffee. And it was genuinely delicious, and I was very happy to devour it. It was good. Mel, hello, thank you so much for the lurk. Thank you. Welcome. I hope you have a lovely lurk. Thank you. So that's our letters. Yay. Shall I move on to doing the... I think I shall. Move on to doing the tea. I'm gonna have to get a different paint palette out for this, because I need some brown. But I think what I'd like to do with this one is try and create a bit more of like a builder's tea kind of vibe. Not sure the best way to do that, but I think what I might do... I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work, or if I'm potentially overthinking things. But my thinky thought here is, number one, where the hell is this paint tube? Number one, where the hell is this paint tube? And number two, if I were to combine a bit of this paint, this color, which I think in and of itself is a little bit too yellow to be tea, but it's got a little bit more of the builder's tea range to it. So what I might do is just pop a little dot of that down, and then mix it with my tea brown, and hope that that gives us somewhat of a more buildersy, I added milk to this kind of vibe. Because I like a black tea, I like a builder's tea. As you may know, if you've never seen my YouTube channel, I do have a video where I tried every single bagged tea bag tea I could get my greedy little mittens on. It was a time, it was an adventure, it was incredibly stupid. It was a surprising amount of work, but it is available for your viewing pleasure if that's something that you think you might be interested in looking at. It's there. I really hope I'll be able to do some more videos for my channel in the coming year. I did not get to do a lot this year. I was hamstrung by illness for like pretty much from August until now, which kind of precluded my ability to do video stuff for a while because I just wasn't really feeling up to it. In addition to all of the other responsibilities that I have in my life. And when you are a one-person team who also has like other tasks and obligations in one's life, making videos is actually a lot of work, especially if you're doing more than just speaking to camera and like off the cuff in a poorly lit room and saying a lot. Anyways, yeah, I think that's a good builder's tea shade. You can see the difference between the two of them. This is definitely a black tea, and this is definitely someone's put milk into it, I think. So I think that works really, really well. Yay! Okay, awesome. Alright. Now I think to make sure that the face stands out from the spore, I'm gonna do like the eyes and smile in this like indigo color and just try and make sure it's very nice and concentrated. I'm also gonna have a sip of my tea. Anyways, I have to say it's been a day for me today. I was out of bed by about 1 p.m. today. Because despite the fact that nominally I've been, you know, sort of in a rest phase since like, oh, what the hell was it? Last Wednesday. I've also been sleeping on an airbed, you know, and not on my usual schedule and not having all of my usual, not on my usual like food schedule as well as sleep schedule. So it's kind of, as much as like I don't have any tasks to do, that kind of change in schedule does definitely throw out my rhythms and energy levels regardless. But yeah, and there is a secret second channel, says Advent. There is a secret second channel. Would you like? Okay, don't tell anybody, chat. But if you wanted, for some reason, to rewatch any of the VODs from this Twitch channel, you can do that over on YouTube at youtube.com/@extra Sammy Kelsch. Because literally 2 or 3 people were like, you know, I'd like to go back and rewatch your VODs. Is there anywhere I can do that? And I was like, well, there is now. And I hope people like they do not get a lot of views. I don't publicize it particularly, and I don't think they don't do very well at all in the algorithm. I don't care. It is there as an archive in case anyone wants to go back and look at stuff. I don't save the VOD videos to my devices because they are big and they take up a lot of storage space, and generally I don't really need them. So why would I want to do that? But with that being said, come on, brain, words are hard. I think it's nice sometimes to have that archive, I guess. I've gone back and referred to it before when I was like, what did I say? What was it? What happened? When was this? So I guess to that end, for my own memory, it's useful. But also I don't publicize it at all, so it has like 20 followers. And the videos get like 3 views, and that's fine. But the thing about the VOD channel, is it is very much a labor of love, in as much as I use music on the Twitch channel that I do not have license to use on that YouTube channel, because my subscription fee for that music license only extends to one YouTube channel, and I already use it for my mainline channel videos, which is the main reason that I have like a music subscription in that way. So So that's it. I'm going to go back and watch the birds because I have no clue how to do birds, says Advent. Oh, goodness. You might have to skip around a bit to find the parts of the stream where I actually paint. But I hope you enjoy it if you do. I did actually go through recently and I had a stream where I on the BRB break I had learned that the Pantone color of the year had been announced, and I was like, it was such a rage baity choice that I was like, oh, I have to talk about this. And my thoughts are very disorganized and ranty. But I was like, do I want to just take a supercut of my opinions on the Pantone color and just upload it as a separate video? And I have actually edited and rendered out that video. I just haven't posted it yet. I should probably do that. But that being said, I also have additional thoughts on it that I've formulated since then, and I don't know whether I want to add those to the video or not. But I do have a lot of thoughts. It ended up being like 20 minutes long. Because I had a lot of thoughts about that color, and the choice of what is effectively just white as their color feels very. If you view the color of the year as something like as an inspirational tool for like artists and the public, it feels very depressing and tone deaf. As a tool for like corporate design departments, it feels, and that's really Pantone's target audience, is like designers, like graphic design, product design, that for, you know, that kind of world is more their audience, their intended audience than the general public. The fact that like the color of the year is like a big press event is the only time of the year that most people think about Pantone, unless you work in like graphic design. But as a let's steer the direction of next year's color scheme with like white, it's just, it feels bad. It feels bad. There's a great article from Psychology Today that is called something like "There's Nothing Neutral About Neutral Colors," and it's not specifically about this move because it was published I think a couple of years ago, but it goes into the sort of like colonial history of color and the class based history of color, and in the same way that like you can see similar things with like spices, flavors, spices, the state of your food. For in like this bit of Europe, for instance, for years, for centuries even, a lot of spices were very expensive. Even sugar was expensive, and sugar was considered a spice. Okay, it wasn't as ubiquitous and cheap as it is now. So having access to things like cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, coriander, you know, cumin, all of that kind of thing, pepper, mace, yada, yada, yada. That was like, if you could make a richly spiced meal with all of these like beautiful flavorings in them, that's because you had the dosh to pony up to do that, right? The common folk were not grinding up cloves galore and putting massive amounts of nutmeg into their meals. If you did not have money, your food was bland. It was probably still pretty delicious. Like, you had onions and stuff, and onions are pretty dang tasty, but it wasn't, you know, you weren't putting like cinnamon in your potage necessarily because cinnamon was expensive and fancy. The reason that you have things like Christmas pudding and that kind of thing as like a special treat that probably most people weren't having like on the regular, people who didn't have that much money, is because, again, like the fruits and the spices, like the candied peel and the dried fruits and that kind of thing, and especially the spices, they were expensive. It was expensive to be putting, you know, like cinnamon and cloves and cardamom and coriander and that kind of thing into your into your meals. So it was like, if you did not have a lot of money, it was a treat. And then at some point, there was a shift. And spices got less expensive. And spices became more accessible to common people doing just like regular cooking and baking and stuff. And so they went out of fashion. And what became more fashionable in terms of food was less spiced, but more focused on like high quality ingredients and letting those base ingredients shine instead. Because, you know, well, if anyone can have, but then it's not fancy, it's not special anymore. We have to find another way to be exclusive, kind of thing. And so that was a shift that happened. The history of color and clothing and class certainly in Europe is a wild ride. For centuries, I know certainly in England, there were several centuries where there were like laws dictating who was allowed to wear what types of clothing, like in terms of like your social class. Like there were things that it's not just that like I can't afford to buy a garment that's as nice as this. I'm literally not allowed by law to wear a garment that looks like this. Like your everyday dress was dictated by, you know, like I work in a laundry, or I am a merchant, or I am a, you know, sort of I visit the royal court, that kind of thing. There were legal determinations about who was allowed to wear what. And again, there were, you know, if color was a marker of, you know, sort of I have access to like any color of clothing that I want, as like a fancy people thing, when color becomes something that like everyone has equal access to garments of any color they want, and it genuinely doesn't affect price at all, because like we have synthetic dyes and that kind of thing. You notice that the like rich people aesthetic is so much more beige. It's beige and white, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like that's fancy people colors, is like, God forbid I wear, I don't know, phthalo green or like a night like duck egg blue. No. I am beige, and beige is clean, and clean is wealth. I'm tired, y'all. Anyways, but also considering there is also a colonial aspect to this, of course, because considering that most spices historically would have been traded from, you know, like non-European countries that in some cases were like colonized by Europeans.
Attention.
Twitch user
Oh boy, that's a kettle of
Choppers.
fish we're not going to get into because we just got a raid. Hello, raiders. Welcome in, Fox. Hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome. Mimicry also says, meanwhile, modern day Portuguese are basically coating some dishes in cinnamon. I have no complaints about this. Anyways, hello, Angel B. Hello, Fox. Welcome in. How was your stream? How was Jack? How was Daxter? Hope you had fun. Betty Bobble sends her regards, and I send my regards in return. But hello. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat. If you're not familiar with the lovely awesome Fox 42, it's right there in the name. They're awesome. You should go give them a follow. Go do. It's right there. Anyways, no pressure, but you should. Anyways, hello. I hope your stream was good. Welcome on in. It's lovely to see you. As always, we are an art tax optional stream, but if there is anything you'd like to share with the class, you can whisper a link in my direction. I'd be very happy to do so. But anyways, for anyone who's just come in on the raid and isn't familiar with me, hello, it's me. My name's Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling extra crispy. This is a weird week because we've got some holidays going. So I'm only streaming today this week. because I am not going to be available on Thursday and Friday. I'm so sorry. But we are painting a very special little guy. This is Spore Dyer. And they are the significant other of this teacup that we painted last time. They are in love. This is very normal of me. Anyways, and I'm using some Japanese watercolors. Anywho, Fox says we finished the rando and then started our Fallout 4 survival mode starring Betty Bobble. Definitely no relation to former President Richard Nixon. Okay, amazing, and I love that for you, and that is incredible and very fun, and I hope you are having a good time with the Fallout. Hell yeah. Yeah, hello. If you saw her, you would understand. I fully believe you, and I will have to go back and look at the VOD because I got to know now. You've piqued my interest. But if anyone is wondering what my art looks like when it's done, and you might be, I don't know. Here's. Tell you what, you know what? I don't care anymore. Here's some Star Trek fan art because I have a hyperfixation, and it's back. So here we are. This was the 1 year anniversary of when these two characters finally got to kiss. Sorry for spoilers for a show that has been out for over a year. So I decided to paint their wedding because they're my favorites. Anyways, yeah, that's that. I do paint things that aren't Star Trek fan art. Obviously, I'm doing the very thing today. I'm painting a Sports Direct mug like this bad boy. Yeah, where's my stream? There's my stream. Okay, sorry. I have enough windows open that I couldn't find my streaming software. Gotta go check on my kitties. Have a nice art time. Thank you so much, Fox. Thank you again for the raid. Very much appreciated. And to anyone who has just come in on the raid, welcome. I will do my best to give you a comfortable place to land. But yeah, thank you very much indeed. Any hoosins. Where was I? Let me just catch up with chat. Oh yeah, Fox says I didn't intend to make her look like that, but it happened. I gotta find out. I will be having a look after stream. Anyways, Angel Meat says, good old Garish here. My boys, my Blorbos, I love them so much. They're very special to me. Listen, okay, in my sewing studio here, I have some friends. They're hanging out with me. Anyways, they're just, mostly they're just cuddling. But having a good time. Drinking tea and, I think they're arguing about a Margaret Atwood novel right now. I don't know. Anyways, it's very on par for them. Anywho, I'm gonna have a sip of my tea, which is this is Hello Kitty's pink apple pie tea, which I'm gonna be so sad when I run out of it. I really am. Once again, if you missed the shout out for Fox and you want to give them a follow, you can do that. There's a link in the chat, so go do. Anyways, as for me, as you may know, I'm a traditional artist who works primarily in watercolors and related, mostly wet media. That makes it sound so bad, but I mean, I'm not wrong. Watercolor, gouache, and every once in a while, a little, actually, you know what? Okay, no, hold up. I want a little bit more precision for this. I'm gonna get my, I'm gonna bump into the mic with my hand, first of all. That's an important first step. And then I'm going to get my tittle brush because I want to draw us a little heart. And I want to make sure I don't horribly F it up. I mean, one of the nice things about mostly displaying your artwork online is that even if you are working in traditional media, if you absolutely fluff something up, you can kind of fix it in post, which is nice. But as a general rule, I prefer to do things correctly the first time, so, you know. Let me just round that out a little bit. There we go. Aww. Yeah, I think that worked. Yay! Cool. Okay. I think all that's left to really do now is a little bit of shading and then some line weight. So, should I bring back this slightly larger brush with which to do a little bit of shading? And I'm gonna take some of the indigo, but I'm gonna thin it way down to do the shadows with. So I've just plucked a little bit onto my little palette, which is in fact the lid from an Essential Waitrose and Partners Italian ricotta from many, many moons ago. I was just lamenting to my moderator / spouse earlier today as we were coming home from the supermarket, actually, that I understand the impetus for why they have started, like, taking the plastic lids away from a lot of lidded items in the supermarket, like, yogurt and cottage cheese and that kind of thing. But nevertheless, I do find it genuinely quite annoying that this is the case. Just because for the most part, it's stuff that I'm not going to be eating, like, all in one go. And I do have a little, like, silicone stretchy lid thing that is designed to go, like, underneath or, like, on top of your opened yogurt container. And it's better than nothing, but I still don't think it's that good as a replacement lid. It is better than nothing, and it's better than... I've said this before, and I said this to my moderator / spouse, and I agree on this, that as much as it is saving on the usage of plastics, which is good, it is also absolutely being embraced by, like, yogurt companies and supermarkets and that kind of thing as a cost-saving measure for them as well. It makes them look like they're doing good things for the environment, but in addition to that, it is saving them money because they don't have to produce plastic lids. Therefore, it costs them less. And I think a lot of the time it's just passing the plastic buck on to the consumer, because in turn it just probably means that a lot of people are going to end up using, like, cling film to cover their yogurt pots and that kind of thing. And that's a single-use plastic even. That's not even... like, that's worse, I think, than a recyclable lid. And I would hope that a lot of the lids end up in the recycling. But also, I realize that, like, I'm a somewhat unusual use case here, but I do also reuse the lids for, like, multiple things. Like, if a good solid container has a good solid lid, I will just use that for, like, various applications. Like, for instance, I will use the lid as, like, a paint palette. I will reuse the container to put leftovers in, that kind of thing. I love having, like, we used ice cream tubs to carry, like, our holiday baking to the folks at the in-laws' house. And that was really useful to have. So yeah, they definitely get their use. And again, I am here for, like, reducing plastic. But I feel like no lid isn't a great solution, because I would like to be able to clamp a proper dang lid onto my yogurt. Otherwise, I'm also really paranoid about dairy and stuff. I'm not a fan of just not having any sort of lid or anything on something like yogurt when I am when I'm eating it and it's not, like, a single serving pot. I get paranoid that it's more likely to end up spoiling faster if I'm not able to, like, seal it with a lid kind of thing, you know? I don't love that for me. I like foods not being spoiled. So I think I've actually been buying, I'm more inclined these days to buy like a 4-pack of like individual yogurt pots, even though it's generally more expensive than buying one big pot. Um, because then it's just a single portion serving. And I know that I'm not having to deal with like trying to find something to cover up the yogurt pot in the fridge. Anyways, welcome back, Advent. They say I get paranoid about dairy too. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's of all of the foods, it's definitely the thing I get the most paranoid about. Um, there's a lot of foods that I'm generally pretty sort of like, I'm very blasé about best before end dates for a lot of food types. Um, but generally, if it's dairy, I'm definitely going to be a lot more cautious. Um, like anytime cheese has like a smell that's not the smell that it has when you first open the pot, I'm like, nope. I'm not eating that. No, thank you. I come from a household where I was growing up, my parents would just like cut if there was a little bit of like visible mold on the cheddar, they would just cut that off and keep using the cheese. I can't do that. I will not do that. That does not feel safe to me. It feels bad, and I won't do it. But also, I have had the experience of milk that is technically within its best before end date spoiling in the fridge. So, when you pour milk into your coffee and it solidifies, that's usually not a good sign. So, yeah, I'm very cautious. Mimicry does point out that yogurt in particular is pretty resilient. You can even make your own. Oh, absolutely. My family used to have a yogurt maker back in like the 80s. And I would love to experiment with making my own yogurt. I mean, you can just do it on like the hob. But making your own yogurt if you don't have a yogurt maker, I think does require like a thermometer, because you want to heat it up to like a specific temperature, I think. And anything that involves like heating things to specific temperatures, I'm wary of, like candy making and chocolate. I tempered chocolate once and the thermometer that I bought for it broke. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to do that. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But yeah, anyways, what was my point? I don't know. I'd love to try making yogurt someday. I think that'd be really fun. I'd love to try making my own like yogurt cheese as well, where you just strain the yogurt, just let it hang out with like a cheesecloth until you get the nice thick yogurt cheese. Yum yum. I think that'd be super fun. Now it's simpler than that actually. Maybe I got lucky. I'm not a yogurtician, says Mimicry. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I watched a YouTube video one time on how to make your own yogurt, so that's my frame of reference. But yes. Anywho, I'm happy for the most part to buy my yogurt, but also I get yogurt that is rhubarb flavored yogurt, and it's cheaper than buying rhubarb and milk and then making my own yogurt. Also, I have a bit of lactose intolerance, so probably shouldn't be having that much dairy anyways. Though yogurt is one of the, if you are lactose intolerant, obviously follow the advice of your own, like, gut, by which I mean, like, your actual, like, digestive system, but yogurt tends to be one of the less bothersome, dairy things that you can have as a lactose intolerant person, in my experience. I have an okay time with yogurt, but if I were to just have like a bowl of cereal with half a cup of skimmed milk and not take a lactase tablet somewhere in the vicinity of that, I'm gonna have problems later on. So I try not to do that. But likewise, great news, Baby Bell cheese Baby Bell cheese is lactose free. It actually says in tiny, they don't market it as like a lactose free cheese, but if you look real closely on the like label, it does say lactose free. So love that. Love that for me. Mimicry says with other dairy, I'm like, I'm not poor enough to risk it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. If your milk smells, don't drink it. And generally, if your cheese has mold on it that is not supposed to be present in, like it wasn't part of the cheese making process, I personally would not eat that. It is not necessarily a friendly or healthy mold, and cutting the bits off and then eating the rest, it is possible that whatever has produced that mold on the exterior is also present inside the cheese in ways that you're not able to see with your naked eye. And you could get sick. So, I would rather not take that risk. Anyways, Sonic Man says, next year Malcolm in the Middle is coming back as Malcolm in the Middle Life. Really? I have not, I'm unsurprised. They're reviving everything else. But good for them. I wonder if it will be one of those, like, we're reconnecting with the original cast and they're all, like, adults and the parent people are grandparents now? Or is it just going to be, like, a reboot with, like, a new cast and it's the same concept? I don't know. This reminds me of, there's a video from a couple years ago where someone reviewed all of, like, Home Alone and then all of the Home Alone sequels, and I think it came up in my feed because it's around Christmas time. But bizarrely, there's, like, the first two Home Alone movies, which star, like, the same cast of actors as the same family, and then there's, like, a third movie, which is, like, a different kid with a different family, and then there's another movie that has, like, the kid's named Kevin again, and, like, the parents have the same name and the siblings have the same names, but it's not clear as to whether or not this is, like, supposed to be a continuation of the original movies, and we're just supposed to believe that these are the same people even though they're all different actors, or this is just, like, a different universe and the kid happens to be also called Kevin. But to that end, it's very confusing and strange. Anyways, Advent says, I always smell the milk carton and then smell the cup before drinking. That's very wise. That's very wise. I am guilty of sniffing my milk jug because there have been times when I've been like, do. Oh, sorry for the shaky cam. There was one time when I was very foolish. I had like, not this brand. Just to be clear, it wasn't this brand, but I had one of these, like, chocolate milk-shaped type beverages that I was drinking, like, on the go, and I just picked it up off the shelf at Sainsbury's Express, because it was on sale for £1, and I was like, hell yeah, chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. I'm just gonna take my lactase pill, and I'm good to go. And I drank the chocolate milk, and then I noticed the best before end date on the top of the lid after I'd finished drinking it. It was literally a month out of date. And I don't know what they do to these. I'm pretty sure that these, like, milkshakey type ones are UHT, so generally they are more highly processed in terms of the pasteurization and therefore the shelf life of them. I have a video coming out where I talk a lot about pasteurization, so I hope that's the kind of thing that excites you as far as YouTube content goes. But yeah, it was literally, how was it still on the shelf? It was a month out of date. I was shocked. Unfortunately, I did not have a receipt and I'd already drank it. So I couldn't go back to Sainsbury's and be like, hey, could I exchange this and or get refunded? Because this should not have been on your shelf. I was not able to do either of those things because I'd already consumed it and I didn't get a receipt with my purchase. But, oh boy! When I tell you how lucky I am that I don't know whether or not, like, the tummy cramps I got later that day were just, like, a sort of psychosomatic effect. But the worst I experienced from that was, like, I had a tummy ache later that day. Which I think is a testament to how to how UHT these like chocolate milk milkshake beverages tend to be. Like, it was very pasteurized. So chances are the best before end date on something like that brand of milk. Again, I'm not talking about this one in particular. It's just the one that I happen to be drinking today. But that one was definitely very well preserved, in as much as I couldn't tell from drinking it that it was out of date. And I did not get sick. Like, I didn't have, like, you know, sort of the violent anythings in terms of side effects, which I'm very grateful for, because I was very, very scared, but it was fine. But, with that being said, that should never have happened. That should not ever have happened. And the fact that it did sucks, frankly. But, you know, here we are. I'm still alive. It wasn't enough to end me, thankfully. But I'm picking up a little bit of my tea-colored brown, and I'm going to kind of just blend it with this Builder's color to do the line weight for the tea portion. Anyways, so that's that. Anywho, are any of y'all the kind of people who do things for New Year's? Do you have New Year? Are you gonna party? Are you gonna actually stay up? I will likely be observing it in as much as I won't go to bed before midnight, but I regularly go to bed just after midnight, so that's kind of par for the course for me, and not actually, like, any sort of indicator of, holidayness of any kind. But with that being said, I do look forward to, our plans, which are, we will be getting pizza delivered on New Year's Eve, and probably just spending the evening in enjoying our pizzas, hoping that Pizza Hut's gluten-free base is anything to write home about, because they can be real hit or miss in my experience. For instance, I like the Tesco. Okay, so for British people, the Tesco supermarket own brand gluten-free pizza, honestly pretty good. Like, a nice crisp crust. It's got a good flavor. The tomato sauce is nicely flavorsome. I always just get, like, the marg pizza, just like the cheese and tomato, and then add bits onto it as I see fit, like vegetables and that kind of thing. That one I think is nice. The Share brand in, like, yellow is decent. I did not like the Marks and Spencer's pizza at all. I think Marks and Spencer's gluten-free pizza is ass. Like, it's not good. Which is weird, because Marks and Spencer's gluten-free cheesy garlic flatbread is amazing. They're also the most expensive out of all of them. It's like £4 for a cheese pizza. Can you believe to learn? Anyways, but yeah. So, wild, right? I might buy hair dye and go to an Asian grocery store to celebrate. That honestly sounds like a wonderful day. And I love that for you. I hope that you were able to get all of the I'm just trying to think of ingredients off the top of my head. I hope that you're able to get, like, Filipino vinegar and or belacan paste and or ketchup mayonnaise and or basil seed drink and or the tins of Milo that come from Singapore. One of the online supermarkets that I shop at, you can get 2 different kinds of Milo drink powder. You can get Milo from Singapore or Milo from Ghana, and as far as I can tell, the only difference is whether or not the, like, little child athlete on the on the tin, because if you've ever seen Milo, they market it as, like, you know, healthy vitamin beverage for active kids, even though it's like chocolate milk with vitamins added to it, right? Anyways, but it just depends on, the only difference that I can tell between the Singapore and the Ghana versions of it is whether or not there's like a little Asian footballer or a little black footballer on the tin. Like, that's it. And it's like, don't make me choose between these two athletic children. I love them both. Anyways. Um, anyways, usually I just get it from my Asian grocery store, and they just stock, I don't know, whichever one they could get that week, so whatever. Anyways, ads are running, so I'll be back in just a minute. Have a nice ad break. You ain't gonna miss anything. Have a drink, have a stretch, take your meds, all that jazz. I'll be back very shortly. BRB, everybody! And we're back. Hi, everybody. Thank you for holding. Thank you for waiting. Hope that your break was acceptable. It's good to be back. Hi. I'm gonna do some line weight for Spore now. Hopefully, I don't muck it up. Anyways, thank you for holding. Once again, you didn't miss anything because we were just taking a little breaky-do. Honestly, I was sitting here and checking my Tumblr notifications. Anyways, I did contemplate getting up to go make a cup of tea, but I thought that would probably take too long. Then I also checked in with my moderator / spouse, who is here in the house because he's not working today. So there's no welcoming home of the moderator / spouse as there often is, because he is home, and that's nice. That's one of the things I treasure the most about this period, is just getting to spend several days and spending all of my time with my best friend. So that's, that is an absolute blessing and an immense joy for me. And hopefully, at the very least, tolerable for him. Anyways. As for tonight's dinner, I am keeping it very simple. I'm going to air fryer some little, crispy veg nuggets that we like to get. They've got, I think spinach and something else filling, and it's got a nice bit of seasoning to it, like a little bit of sort of a curry spice kind of vibe. It's very pleasant. And they also, are gluten-free, so I appreciate that. It's hard to find. I can find veggie chicken nuggies, or I can find gluten-free actual chicken nuggies. It's very hard to find gluten-free veggie chicken nuggies. There's one brand that I found that does it, and I can only get it online, so I don't have them very often. And, as a neurodivergence haver, obviously I do enjoy a nuggie situation for dinner. But I'm having some little veggie nuggies, which I think are really nice, and then I'm just making a big salad to go with them, because, it has been many days since I was able to have a big salad meal, and, my body craves nutrients and vegetables. I am a boring old person. I do genuinely just really love vegetables. Vegetables are great. I'm very glad to not be. I mean, I say this, I used to think I wasn't a picky eater at all, and then it was pointed out to me how much of a picky eater I actually am. In terms of, my flavor palette, I tend to be fairly adventurous. I like a lot of seasonings and spices and sauces and, spice combinations and cuisines. I haven't met a cuisine that I didn't find something I liked in, you know what I mean? Though, because I don't eat meat, some are more challenging than others to adapt. But with that being said, there are also a lot of things there are a lot of flavors that I just know I don't get on with, like mustard. I hate mustard. So anything that's a mustard situation is out for me. If a recipe says, and add a teaspoon of mustard, I just don't do that. I'm just how would I not do that? What if I just didn't do that? And then I just don't do that. But also certain textures I'm not a fan of, if a dish has sliced onions, So they're like long strings of onion in the... Dice them up, please. Like, I don't... For instance, I cannot stand French onion soup. And part of the reason for that is the texture of the stringy long onions I find very difficult, personally. Like, I am not an enjoyer of the stringy long onions at all. So I can't really do French onion soup. Also, certain situations where, like, things are soggy, I may not be a fan of. What else do I not... Can't think off the top of my head of anything. Oh, any cheese that's, like, blue cheese kind of thing is out. Starting to sound like I'm a picky eater. I just have a lot of ingredients and a couple of textures that I cannot stand. There are situations where, like, it varies about, like, if you're eating a meal that has, like, discrete elements of, like, the different elements touching each other on the plate. There are certain things where I'm just like, I do not like... If I have, like, a pile of mashed potatoes and then, like, some peas, I don't just want the peas to be all up in the mashed potatoes. I would rather that they stayed, like, separate units. Which sometimes really is hard to achieve with something that tends to roll, like peas. But then there are other things where, you know, like, I don't care. So, it really varies as to whether or not I'm a picky. But I don't think I'm that picky of an eater. I don't, and likewise, I wouldn't say, like, oh, if you have, like, a peanut allergy or a gluten intolerance or IBS, that's not being a picky eater. That's having, like, a medical condition. It's different. You know, like, if you've got Crohn's disease and there's a lot of food that is just off the table for you because it gives you, like, horrible, you know, like health problems if you eat it, that's not being a picky eater. That's just having a health problem. Because there is, you know, there's those memes that go around that are like, the picky eater test. Tick if you know, don't eat any of the following. The higher number you have, the more of a picky eater you are. But it's just like, well, you also might just not be able to digest, I don't know, celery. And if you just can't digest celery, that's not being a picky eater about celery. That's just trying to keep yourself alive or potentially keep yourself from getting the shits. You know what I mean? Like, there is a difference between, I just personally dislike, like, this entire category of food, and, this entire category of food will make me feel very sick. Also, some people have intense sensory sensitivities when it comes to taste and texture, like flavors and stuff. And especially if this is coupled with something like autism, can often result in potentially having, like, a fairly small list of foods that you know you can safely consume without just wanting to hurl yourself into the sun. And again, that's fine. Like, as long as your needs are being met in terms of, like, you know, you're not giving yourself a deficiency, like, who cares? You know, if you're able to have, like, I don't know, apples and protein shakes and peanut butter toast, and that's covering your bases nutritionally, then hey. You know, like, it's all good. I just hope that whatever you're up to, you're being as healthy as you can. I'm going because I'm watching my nieces. Oh, nice! I had fun. I'll turn on notifications. Oh, thank you very much, and I hope you have a lovely time with your nieces. Thanks for hanging out. Mimicry says also, and everyone can just eat whatever they want. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, eat what you want. It doesn't matter. You know how, like, you'll see, like, oh, here's a recipe for, like, guilt-free brownies because they're made with beans or something like that. That all food is guilt-free because guilt is not an ingredient. Eat what you want. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I think that's something that I'm being very mindful of, like, telling myself as well, by the way. because I'm over 40, and so I get, like, text messages from my doctor being like, you're middle-aged, stay healthy, blah-de-blah-de-blah, here's some guidance. And because of my personal history, I do find some of that a little bit triggering, so I tend to take a lot of it with a grain of salt, and just remember to just do what actually makes me feel good, but also in so doing being kind to myself. Like, I'm not, like, it's fine. Like, just, again, genuinely eat what you want. Look after yourself. And that also means, don't worry about what other people think of, like, what you want to eat. Because ultimately, like, they do not matter. And if they're going to be weird. And also, if like, it's just been the holidays and a lot of people are visiting family that they maybe don't see super often. And if family passes, like, weird comments because, say, like, I don't know, like, you're having a small portion at dinner, or even, like, you're having a snack, or whatever it is, if they're being weirdly commentary about what you choose to eat or not to eat, you can just ignore them. Like, don't listen to them, they're being weird. And I also just don't think that it's cool to comment on other people's food choices, because it's none of your beeswax. Anyways, that's enough of that. But also it's obviously something that is kind of on my mind. I will say that I am blessed with a family of my own, and also a family-in-law that very much don't give a shit, which is great. They're good people, and I love them. I have family-in-law who are from Japan, and so that means as Christmas gifts we always get Japanese snacks, which is absolutely a blessing. We get like, they brought me my favorite pasta sauce. my favorite Japanese pasta sauce. It's very good. It's the one that you may have seen the commercials for it. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find, because it is terrifying. And this is how I found it existed. And then I was like, I have to try this. I have to know if the pasta sauce is good. And it turns out that the pasta sauce is good. But, they were known for years for having, like, these genuinely kind of terrifying, adverts. And I don't normally show stuff, like videos on stream, and I don't know how well this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try, because these adverts are crazy, so bear with. I don't know if this is gonna work. I might actually, okay, I don't know if the sound's gonna be on, but, ta-da! Like, well, the child is terrified, but the good news is she finds it delicious. And genuinely, I find it delicious also. Also, I guess you got to see some of the YouTube channels I'm subscribed to on main. Which is fine, I'm subscribed to them. They're good channels. Also, yes, can confirm that my YouTube, like, my YouTube year in review was like, here are the things you liked watching most about Star Trek, physics, and history. Are we surprised? No. Anyways, Mimic Races, I'm going to Japan soon, so thanks for the recommendation. Oh yeah, if you come across, like, tarako pasta or mentaiko, which is the, like, spicier version of it, I am a fan. I am a fan. It has quite a subtle, sort of briny flavor, in my experience. But I like it. I am a tarako enjoyer. But I like a lot of Japanese food. I do a not insignificant amount of like Japanese home cooking for our dinners as well. I feel like I've been quite lazy on the home cooking front lately. But I do like a lot of like Japanese going out food, and also a lot of Japanese home cooking. It's very good. I'm trying to figure out a gluten-free alternative to okonomiyaki, like flour. I think if I just use gluten-free flour and then add yam... So if you're not familiar with okonomiyaki, it's a kind of savory pancake that usually has, like, you can get loads of different fillings. But I think the most common filling would be, like, shredded cabbage, pork belly, other stuff. Sometimes I'll put like tempura scraps in it for like crunch. You can get it with cheese. Loads of loads of other stuff, but that's like the basics. But I do one that's mostly just cabbage. I've also done it with Brussels sprouts at home, but usually we would purchase like an okonomiyaki kit that comes with the okonomiyaki flour and the yam flour. You use a combination of like pancake flour and then also Japanese mountain yam, which when you grate the mountain, because of the starches in it, when you like grate it with like a fine grater, the yam basically turns into ectoplasm, and it's the ectoplasm. You can also get the yam as like dried into like a flour, and then when you add like water and eggs and stuff to it, it reactivates. And this ectoplasmic texture is what gives the pancake its like the pancake batter, its like fluffiness. It's very good. But I can't have plain wheat flour anymore. So I'm gonna need to see if I can't get fresh mountain yam here. So I'm gonna need to see if I can just buy like just the yam flour and blend it myself with like gluten-free flours. Probably like super fine rice flour and maybe some like potato starch, and a little xanthan gum, to see if I can make my own okonomiyaki flour at home, because it's so good. But also, but that's the other thing. I can't use shop-bought okonomiyaki sauce because the like most popular brand that you can get here, which is like Bulldog, I think, okonomiyaki sauce. No, it's not Bulldog. It's the other one. Anyways, point is, okonomiyaki sauce, way down on the ingredients list, has shiitake mushroom. And guess who's also allergic to mushrooms? This loser. It's great. So I have to make okonomiyaki sauce from scratch at home, which is fine. Because you can do a pretty decent approximation of it with like a little ketchup, Worcester sauce, oyster sauce, seasoning. That'll pretty much get you 80% of the way. It's good enough, and it's delicious, and I love doing it at home. Oh man, I want to make Brussels sprout okonomiyaki now. Oh no, I can't do it. Anyways, okonomiyaki is really nice as mimicry. It super is. I even made it for my grandparents once. They really liked it without yam though, so no fluffiness, but I bet it was still really delicious. I bet it was still very, very delicious. It's so good. It's just savory pancake full of stuff. What's not to love, right? Amazing. Gazillion out of 10 do recommend. Anyways, I'm signing my artwork because I've just seen the time. And I think I'm going to go do dinner shortly. Partially because this bad boy is done. These bad boys are done. Well, okay, let's be real. I call them bad boys. These very good boys are done. Because these are clearly very good boys. Gender neutral. I don't know if mugs have a concept of gender. They may have no gender, or they may have like hundreds of genders. It's possible that this mug's gender is Sports Direct, and this teacup's gender is like teacup. I don't know. But anyways, what I do know is that they're in love. They're dating. and they love each other very much, and that's frankly the most important thing to me. So, actually, no, I'm not done. I'm gonna do a tiny bit of line weight on the actual like face, just because I feel like it could do with just a smidge more. Just really nail that definition, and I think that will look good. I hope it'll look good. Anyways, as soon as I'm done this, then I'm gonna bounce and see if there's someone we can go right into. Oh good, I think I made that eye worse actually. Great. Oh well, never mind. It's fine. But yeah. Stay. Sorry, I set my paintbrush down and it wanted to roll off the palette, and I'm like, no, don't roll onto the floor. I'll never find you again. The handle is very similar color to the carpet. But let's see who we can do a little raid on. Let's see who's on today. I feel like things are quiet at the moment because it's like it's a fairly quiet time of the year. It's liminal space-ness, so that kind of thing. But actually, let's go say, let me just make sure that this person isn't just about to end. And then we will go. Because this is someone I've not raided in a while. So they're doing a vintage game stream, which I think sounds like fun. Ooh, very fun stuff. Okay, let's go say hi. Let's go say hello. Alright, so raid is happening. We're gonna go raid Tauntaun. It should be a nice time. Here's a generic raid message in the chat if you want it. I think most people have gone to dinner by now, but nevertheless, I'm gonna get some little skongs in there. And I'm not gonna be here for the rest of the week, because I am off doing New Year activities, mostly resting because, oh man, I'm tired. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been really, really nice. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week and a wonderful New Year, and genuinely thank you to everyone who has hung out, lurked, rated, supported, just been nice to me this year. It's meant the world, and it's so nice to have such a cool group of people hanging out, and to hang out with and hold me publicly accountable for making artwork. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it so much. Have a beautiful rest of your Monday and a beautiful rest of your week, and a happy New Year to you all. Thank you so much. Where's the thanks for watching screen? There it is. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to go say hi to Tauntaun, who is a wonderful friend of the stream and a really, really cool bean. So yeah, take care, everyone. Goodbye, and good night, and good luck.